Okay, the corruption in the Trump administration goes unchecked and is running wild. So, several more stories over the weekend. One is about a new person who's going to head the Office of Management and Budget. It's Mick Mulvaney. He's a Republican congressman. He's introduced legislation to let the U.S. government uh, basically let go of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and recapitalize it. So that's complicated. I'll probably explain it on Monday's show. But basically, the person who wanted that is a giant hedge fund manager named John Paulson, who bought Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac stock cheap. And the minute the government does that, he's going to make billions of dollars. He contributed $250,000 to Donald Trump, and he will get everything he wants. Man, this is not complicated. This is the systemic corruption that Donald Trump claimed to be against. By the way, we've got a petition up on that, tytnetwork.com/stop. Stop putting your donors in your cabinet and your administration. But now, the story out today is about Rex Tillerson again. So it turns out he's one of the directors of ExxonMobil partnership subsidiary with the Russian government and the giant Russian oil companies that they work with. So he's on the board of this company called Exxon Neftegas. And guess where it is? In the Bahamas. So you want to avoid all sorts of regulations, you go to the Bahamas, and that's where ExxonMobil has dozens of subsidiaries set up. What happened? I thought we were going to make America great again. I thought we were going to put America first. It turns out, no, you're going to put as your Secretary of State a guy who regularly moves companies, subsidiaries abroad, mainly for tax and regulatory purposes, and to make sure he doesn't pay his fair share. So that's unsurprising. Now, let's think about the connection to Russia for a second. People are like, well, how do you know that the Russians wanted to help Trump and Trump is paying them back? The evidence is right in front of you. It's so simple. So I'm not saying that the actual voting booths are hacked. There's no evidence of that. They should investigate that. We have a petition about that too, to verify the vote. And so look into that as well, and we'll have the link about that in the description box below as well. But guys, it's not complicated. Rex Tillerson is deeply connected to the Russian government. They had a $500 billion contract with the Russian government, ExxonMobil did. He's the CEO of ExxonMobil. That's a $500 billion. And Obama had put sanctions on it. Putin wants to make sure that they go forward with that contract. So does ExxonMobil. Putin helps Trump. And then Trump says, oh, who do you want as Secretary of State? Hey, you know what? The number one guy that Russia would want as Secretary of State is Rex Tillerson. And the reason that Russia would want Rex Tillerson is super obvious. They get to go ahead with that $500 billion contract. Here's a guy they worked with in the past. They apparently have a subsidiary with him hidden in the Bahamas, Exxon Neftegas, as I just told you. And then he also got, Tillerson did, the Russian Order of Friendship. And the guy who is the number one holder and controller of the largest oil company in Russia, said his main goal is to get, because we put sanctions on him and he can't come back into the U.S., his main goal is to come back into the U.S. and ride motorcycles on highways with Rex Tillerson. So Russia has no better friend in the world, and certainly in America, than Rex Tillerson, the CEO of ExxonMobil. And then, even though he has no diplomatic experience, no government experience, he is put in maybe the most important cabinet position there is, Secretary of State. Why? As a giant thank you to Vladimir Putin. The evidence is Rex Tillerson. It's not complicated. So now, whether that means you invalidate the election, that is not going to happen. So, hey, Trump supporters, Republicans, calm down. I'm not telling you, and because of that, and then we need to take action, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. I'm just telling you that if you're naive, whether you're conservative or progressive, and you say, oh, no, where do you get the fact that the Russians helped Trump or would want Trump to win? Well, I get it from the fact that Trump is giving them a giant wet French kiss, or perhaps a Russian kiss, by making Rex Tillerson the Secretary of State when no rational human being thinks that he has any business in that role. The only person in the world, that's a nice shaky camera, the only person did the Russians hack my phone? The only person in the world who wants Rex Tillerson as Secretary of State is Vladimir Putin. So Rexon Mobilson, that's our new nickname for him, he is the evidence that the Russians helped Trump and Trump paid them back. Wake up. It's super obvious. It's right there in front of you.